In March 2022, we purchased 2.5 acres in Georgia. The property was completely overgrown, so to even get on to the property from the dirt road, I had to use a billy goat brush hog to cut my way through to even give myself a spot to stand. It was above my head in some parts. After a full day of using that billy goat brush hog, I realized there were some pretty sizable trees that needed to come down. Right here where my truck is parked is the right property line at the road. The neighbors already cleared theirs. So when we got here, it was all brush above your head. We were able to clear it. Say hi, Beth. So yeah, the property line goes from the truck down that way, and then from where the brush starts right there, down that way as a diamond back to a point. So let me show you around. This flat area up here is going to be great, a great place to put the 30 by 40 house. We had a local guy clear the property. He took down all the trees, mulched it up, and he also cleared a path to the septic drain field. So that wasn't bad. So the land was cleared. We knew where we were gonna put the house, and it was a really wet season. So we could really see where the ground was holding moisture, being completely stripped of all vegetation. We could really see where it was holding moisture and where it needed to be attended to make sure there wasn't going to be a pool forming there over time. And when we bought this property, it was landlocked actually. Long story, it's a dirt road, and the way the dirt road curves, whoever put in the dirt road by the tractor didn't follow the plat map exactly as they should have, and the curve of the dirt road was about 10 feet to the north, and my property would have touched the road with a diamond tip if the road was where it should have been. But because it was paved, or not paved but graveled in the wrong arc, I was landlocked by the piece of my neighbor's property across the road by about 10 feet. So bizarre issue. The local government really wanted me to get the legality behind the access to my land in order. So they required me to either get an easement from the neighbors, or do something to where I had access and I'm not just sweeping it under the rug. So that's what we did. With my neighbor over here to the west of me, I called in a land surveyor, and we shifted our shared line to where I had some access to the road, and what he gave me in the front, I gave him in the back of our property, and we just kind of shifted it. So that worked out. And you know what? I think I got this property for a pretty good deal, since it was landlocked, and then it was a simple fix with the land surveyor. So it was kind of a win to get a property that other people didn't want, and then I figured out a way to fix it, which leads me into the first thing I want to talk about, which is the preparation to start a house build. You really have to spend time deciding what you want and researching how to get what you want done. It's a bad idea to just hop into this process winging it the whole way. It'd be better to take 1 or 2 years to just research and save and search and plan, instead of starting ill-prepared and then it taking 5 years to get finished. Or you doing things incorrectly and it coming back to get you, which will happen. Don't do anything if you're not doing it the correct way the first time, because it's hard enough to do everything you need to do. is impossible to do things wrong the first time. And while you're doing the future steps, you have to go backwards and fix the mistakes of the past. It's a nightmare. Really, the best part of this property was this front area, which is where the house is. But the property actually spans back a good bit. I mean, we've only cleared maybe 3/4 of an acre, and it goes back that direction for another, almost 2 acres. So yeah, with this house, the best part to build is this front little flat area before it starts gently rolling backwards. I didn't want to be at the bottom because there's a creek back there, and if anything happens to where there's a humongous amount of water rise, I would want to be as far away from the bottom as possible. So I built up here. I chose to go with a post and beam foundation because for so many reasons. One, if you do a slab, you have to get your plumbing in, all of your piping, and in the future, when the construction materials we build with fail, because guess what? They will always fail. My old carpenter teacher used to say there's 2 types of concrete. Concrete that's cracked and concrete that's gonna crack. So all concrete will fail at some point. And all plumbing will fail. And so when things start failing and your foundation needs fixing, if you have a slab, you gotta tear up your floor and bring out a jackhammer and concrete saw, and it's a nightmare. With a footer foundation, all of your plumbing, electrical, HVAC can all go after the build in the crawl space, so you can build your house and then do everything later. And repairs and the easeability of like a pipe bursting, being able to go fix it, it's very, very critical to be able to access the underside of your foundation, underside of your house floor. And in doing a slab, you have to really grade the ground. The soil I'm on is kind of sandy a little bit, a little loamy. It's not the best soil, but the people around my area who've done slabs, a lot of them have had cracks very shortly after the pour because the dirt here it's just not the best. And in having a footer foundation, if one footer starts to fail, or if that spot, maybe is holding water, and it starts sinking, you can just jack that side part of the house up and replace the post, or figure out what the moisture issue is, solve it, and then make a taller pier. It's you can kind of adjust the house foundation with the ground to where you're not just sitting on a cracked slab. This is the design that I made. It's a working design. I went through several drafts, which I'll show you here. Very rudimentary to another idea that we had, which then got adjusted into this one. And in this one, I made a 30 by 40 house, a grid of 18 by 18 inch concrete poured forms. Georgia code is 12 inches below undisturbed soil, but my guys and I went at least 24 inches, and 2 feet is more than enough in Georgia. If you're up in Washington State, you want to go like 5 feet. You want to go deep because it gets so cold there that the water in the upper crust of the dirt actually freezes in the winter and expands, and the concrete will move. So you want to make sure you go deep enough to where if you are in negative 20 degrees for a week, your house foundation isn't waving, hopping up and down. So we went plenty deep enough for this area and to Georgia code. And on top of the concrete footers are 7.5 feet apart one direction and 10 feet apart the other direction. And on the footers sit roughly 8 by 8 or 8 by 6 rough sawmilled posts from the trees on the property we cut down. They support the floor frame by being notched and some fasteners to join them. And the floor frame and the design was actually going to be sitting up on like skids, and the center of the floor joists were just going to cross. But we decided actually to make 2 separate floor frames, and between them, instead of having them cross and be supported by a skid underneath, we had them basically meet into a triple band, a triple rim joist in the center. And then the triple rim joist is supported by the notched 8x8 post below. Then on top of that, we have tongue groove 3/4 subfloor, and then we have exterior walls with, you know, windows in the front, entryway, some windows in the bedrooms, windows in the kitchen and laundry room, and a side door in the laundry room. We chose to design it this way because you have a great open great room that flows into a dining room and kitchen, and then you have a good master suite with a big room, big bathroom, big walk-in closet, and we really wanted a walk-in pantry. We wanted a big utility room for the washing machine and dryer and storage, and we wanted a public restroom, and we wanted another downstairs bedroom. And then with designing a roof pitch of 812, we also gave ourselves a bonus room upstairs of a space about 18 feet wide by 40 feet long. So we're going to put another bedroom up there and a family room. This design, it's not exactly what we built, but it's pretty darn close. We ended up not vaulting the center great room so that we could have a big room upstairs. Sheathe everything in 7/16 OSB, put a metal roof on it, a red metal roof, and this is what it looked like in our heads, and this is what it looks like in real life.